morning, guys. It's looks like the 30th, March 30th, and I'm just gonna dive right into the news. Sorry I'm a little late again, as usual, but this is my life. So I had to write all these notes down and get this all ready and try to, put together a show and get my carpets replaced. So it's gonna be quite noisy at times, and I apologize. And but I'll just try to get right in there. So 371 new cases of COVID, 4 deaths. Looking a little, well, yesterday was 190 some odd cases versus 371. Good news for renter moratorium. It's been extended through June 30th. So no evictions. So the state, let's get into this for a second. So there is a moratorium on evictions. And it was set to expire tomorrow. Was the big day for the moratorium to be done and people could be evicted. And they did extend it. So the state received $45 million in help for this. The Department of Workforce Services announced the new pandemic electronic transfer. So there's a bunch of stuff going on for COVID relief, part of the $1.9 trillion deal. Anyway, so this new electronic transfer is for school kids. Compensation for school lunches. They have till May 10th to sign up. It's a SNAP type deal, so it'll be accepted wherever SNAP's accepted. So if you, I guess from what I understand, if you had kids, should have been getting free lunch and stuff and they didn't, this is one thing you can call, look up what you qualify for. Just to put it out there so everybody knows that is out there. They have till May 10th, so you need to look it up. It's called the Compensation for Pandemic Electronic Transfer. So that's what you want to look into. The Migrant Fire, it's growing. It's at 2,700 acres right now. That's not a good thing. A little too early for the fire season to be starting, I think. Honestly, kind of done real quick. This early is just not good. Okay, the weather. Let's move on to the weather. I'm moving pretty fast. Just try to get it done. We'll probably talk about a few things, towards the end. And I'll probably stop in the middle of this newscast because I like to give my 2 cents. So hope you guys don't mind. Anyway, okay, on to the weather. Cold today, but warm Easter. So it's going to get really warm in Easter. And it's going to actually be above normal temperatures. So we're looking at cold air in the morning. It's going to be really cold tomorrow. Tomorrow, like Cedar City, is going to be 19 degrees. So if you're expecting it to be nice and toasty by tomorrow morning, you're wrong. It's going to be cold across the state tomorrow. But it's going to warm up. It's going to warm up throughout the day. It's going to get better and better. So they're expecting 78 by Saturday in Salt Lake. That's pretty warm. 78 degrees. St. George, it's going to be 81, 84. So it's going to be quite warm in St. George by Saturday. So it's going to be 15 to 20 degrees above normal. So this is going to be spring on steroids, honestly. Okay, that's all done. Let's move on to the next one. So Biden finally allows press into migrant children facilities. Now everybody needs to remember, these are kids. A lot of these kids are from El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras. They're human beings. They're coming up here trying to get away from what's happened in Central South America. Venezuela, what's been going on down there. There's been a lot of stuff. I think, my personal opinion, a lot of rotten stuff happening to Venezuela by the global community. Just my opinion. I think blockades did not serve a purpose, blocking off Venezuela. So they should be able to trade their oil and get things rolling so their people wouldn't be in poverty. This is kind of a big deal. People suffer when policy is set forth to strangulate, a country through whatever reasoning. The people suffer, and that's one thing I'm saying. That's what we're seeing right now is a bunch of children and people just fleeing, just trying to get through. So it's a big deal. These kids shouldn't suffer through this stuff right now. It's not fair for kids. And I seen the pictures Ted Cruz put up in the video. It's not good. Not good. But the press. So finally, the Biden administration is allowing free press, which free press should never be stifled. You should never have the right to stop free press unless it's to do with national security. That's one of the biggest things, or trade secrets, and that's some different stuff. But national security, free press keeps the government in check. That's what it does. It informs the public of what's actually happening. And remember that, free press. It can't be oligarchs through the media moguls. It has to, these are billionaire media corporations, they're backed by a lot of people. There's a lot of money flying around. So free media needs to be, unleashed upon this country again, upon planet Earth. Sorry, starting to stutter. Everything's just taped and not edited, guys. So normally they'd be saying, cut in the background, cut, and guy be like, oh, I don't want to stutter like that. And then, everybody be laughing and blah, blah. But no, we're not going to do that. So, let's get into Biden's plan. Well, no, let's get into Biden's dog bit another staffer again. So, yeah, Biden's German Shepherd bit another staffer. Should we call it the hounds of hell? Nah, I don't know. Just throwing that out there. They're kind of crazy. Dogs biting people in every direction. They got a guy in black with a gun, a guy in black with a gun. Dogs are going to get really, scared. They're going to start biting people. Just, Okay, Biden's plan, the $3 trillion deal. Just put that in your mind. $3 trillion. Which brings me to today's news on the stock market. The stock market dropped a little bit, 100 points, blah, blah. The stock market's drunk on $1 trillion packages. So they're waiting for tomorrow when Biden puts out this monstrosity of a plan on top of the $1.9 trillion just signed, on top of the $1 trillion before that, the $1 trillion before that. So just remember, these plans, the stock market's waiting. They're just to sop up the money. They're just like, how much is this $3 trillion more dollars? I mean, they're drunk on massive debt, stuff that our great-grandchildren are going to pay back. The GDP of America is like $2 trillion a year. That's everything. So you figure what we just passed was an entire year's worth of gross domestic product. Now we're going to pass another $3 trillion. So I'll do another episode on that later today or tonight. Hopefully I can get to it. Hope it don't, take too long. Anyway, so his plan could lead to universal income. That's the reason why they're saying that. I just watched a story on that. It's hearsay, could be, lead. Remember, it's always the wording. It's always the wording. And the reason being is because he's going to extend the unemployment insurance again, and it's going to have another big package for that, and stimulus checks, which we all need stimulus checks. I'll tell you what, it's great. It's helping everybody. It's getting things up and moving. A lot of people suffered through this time. Stimulus checks are helping. And, we'll see what happens with it. And then, okay, let's add this into it. So the commentary I watched on Fox News said that there's a lot of this $3 trillion stimulus bill includes a Green New Deal. Just saying. Yeah, it's not much for, it's also going to include the biggest tax hike since 1942. So that's going to be included. Let's see. It has very little to do with economic growth. It has from what I've watched today but I mean, tomorrow we have to really see what his plan includes, and let's try to get a printout, an idea of what this $3 trillion monstrosity on top of the $1.9 trillion monstrosity, and how much this is really going to affect the economy and just not go right back to Wall Street and the investors and the hedge funds and global investments. So we have to figure that out, because a lot of times, just like I said before, the Wall Street's just sucking up everything. My dog's crying. Of course, she wants to get out, but the carpet layers are up there. But the monstrosity is just basically being sucked up by corporations and massive greed. Massive investors are just taking every bit, right to the bank. So just remember that next time. Okay, let's get into the next infrastructure. Another one included in this. A big part of it's infrastructure, but just remember 65% of the infrastructure is privately held. So 65% is owned by someone else. It's owned by a company, Verizon, all the other companies, power companies, whatever. So a lot of this is going to go to them. Hopefully, I don't know how it's going to work out in the long run, if it's going to benefit all of us with advancing technologies, advancing infrastructure as far as, internet, Wi-Fi, stuff like that. And it could be a good thing, but we really got to remember, you have to make sure the money's being invested in a good, towards the future. If the money gets invested now, we're able to take that money, throw it into the future, and promote, our ability to do things, especially working from home. That's a big one. Now, people got to remember it's going to be back to work soon with COVID if it all works out. So working from home needs that advancement so you can work from anywhere in the country and not have to suffer Wi-Fi outages and stuff like that because your job depends on it. And same with online schooling, it's another big deal. So a lot of that money is going to go towards that and other infrastructure. So, okay, states own 30% of the infrastructure and 5% the feds own. And I guess this bill provides hundreds of billions of dollars in subsidies and raises taxes. So, yeah, they're going to raise taxes. Corporate tax is going to go from 21 to 24%, 28%, 21 to 28% of corporate taxes, and it's going to double capital gains. Now, if any of you guys are understood what capital gains, any kind of lump sum money you get, including your family, your father gives you money when they pass, that's part of capital gains. Work your life away, put some money away, your kids go to get it, and now they're going to double capital gains from 21 to 20, or they're going to double capital gains. It's going to just from 20 to 40% capital gains rate. It's just huge. It's just a bad deal all the way around. Okay, it looks like the Pentagon's diversity chief resigned. He didn't make it very far. Tucker Carlson called out some of his tweets or whatever about Donald Trump. And so he resigned, and, he brought that up about he oversees the hiring of the naval SEALs and this guy. So he just kind of shot himself in the foot. He's worried about inclusion and diversity, and he's overseeing the naval SEALs. Just probably not a good place to be putting the guy, just telling you. So he resigned. Probably a good deal for all of us, in that sense. I want naval SEALs going to go out and be able to attack a country, without worrying about stuff like that. That's just out of the military's idea. We don't we don't need that type of stuff for the U.S. Special Forces. So, okay, COVID vaccine might be mandatory for colleges and universities. So there was an article on possibility of the COVID vaccine having to be taken and proved that they took the vaccine by college and university students. We'll see how that goes. And that's pretty much it for now. So there's your update, guys. Hope you guys have a great night. I'll be back in a couple hours. And always remember that I have Rick's Rock Shop. Don't go to Rick's Rock Shop. I have to do as fast as I can because I know that they're working upstairs and I completely want the new carpet. Honestly, my dogs are destroyed. This is one of my dogs right here. She's just being a turd, and my lab's outside, sitting outside the door, probably waiting for me to go out there and tell them everything's going to be okay because they're the biggest chickens that the world's ever known. But we won't get into my chicken. It's out back and it should be clucking too. But anyway, have a good night. I'll get back with you in just a little bit. Thanks.